Hello and welcome back. Today I have brought a very interesting and unique topic, which is verbs of sensation. You might be wondering that what are these? Verbs of sensation are the words which describe one of the five senses from those we experience the world. Like from eyes we get the sense of look, seem, see, appear. By ear we get the sense of hear, sound. By nose we smell. By tongue we taste, and by touch we feel. That's why they are also called sensory verbs, and their another name is stative verbs, which shows the impression that we receive through our five senses, like we have discussed earlier. They are mainly used in indefinite tense or simple tense. We can combine them with adjectives to express our personal preferences, beliefs, and feelings. But in some situations, we use them in progressive forms, means ing form or present participle form, where they give totally different meaning. Okay, let's first take the verb look. You can better understand by comparing these sentences that what is the difference in meaning between base and ing verbs. Look is stative and dynamic also. Let's see some sentences. She looks smart means she always looks smart. There is nothing new in her appearance, and verb look is stative because it means seem or appear here. Stative verbs are those which shows the impression that we receive through our five senses. In the contrary, she is looking smart, showing that it's a voluntary action, means she normally doesn't look smart, but she is looking smart at that particular moment. Might be because she dressed herself well for going to the party or going in a wedding. So that's why her appearance is unexpected. We are not used to see her in such an appearance. Voluntary actions are those which shows willful actions. Means no one is compelling us to do anything or to talk about now. Verbs of sensations like feel, hear, see, smell or taste. These all are stative because when we use these verbs to talk about the impressions that we receive through our five senses, they are all non-action verbs and cannot be used in progressive form, mean ing form, and they are always followed by adjectives when they are used in such a way. Let's take the verb taste. We use the verb taste to talk about the impressions that we receive through our sense of taste. Let's take the example. This soup tastes fantastic. It's a stative verb here. It shows that you are getting taste through your sense of tasting. But if we say the chef is tasting the soup to see if it needs more salt, this shows an action, tasting of soup, and it shows an action of that particular moment, and it is a voluntary action. He is putting soup in his mouth to see how it tastes. Let's take the next verb, which is smell. We use the verb smell to talk about the impression that we receive through our sense of smelling. Like in the sentence, the sandwich smells of cheese means the smell or flavor are of real cheese. It is a stative verb. It again shows the state or belief perception towards the sandwich. Maybe someone else say it smells of sauce, depends on one's belief. Instead, if I say I'm smelling this perfume, it is a voluntary action. There is an action going on. You can question it by what are you doing? The answer would be smelling this perfume. It is a willful action. You are smelling it by yourself. No one is compelling you. And when we say smell like or taste like, it gives a totally different meaning, which means it's a smell or flavor similar to real thing. We are comparing here the thing which we are talking about to the original thing, not a smell of real thing. And the next verb is feel. Feel is a stative verb because we use it to talk about the impressions that we receive through our sense of touch. Like in the sentence, this sweater feels warm. It is a stative verb here. It shows a state or your personal belief or perception towards that sweater. But if we say she is feeling the fabric to see if it's soft or not, means to touch something to know how it feels. It's again a voluntary action. As we have already seen earlier, the use of taste, smell, feel in the progressive form to talk about a voluntary action or to talk about now. But if we talk about the verb like see and hear, they can also be used in progressive form but with totally different meaning. We can use them with can and cannot to talk about something happening at the moment or to talk about now. Let's see some sentences. I can see a beautiful woman next to your sister. We cannot say I am seeing, this would be wrong. But if we are using them in progressive form by putting ing in the verb, it gives us a totally different meaning. Like in the sentence, I am seeing Jerry for lunch. Here, using progressive form takes out totally different meaning. That is, I am meeting Jerry for lunch. And in the next sentence, we have been seeing each other for months. Here, it's also giving totally different meaning. That means we have been dating each other for months. Like the verb see, we cannot simply use the progressive form with here to show voluntary action. But we can use by placing can and cannot with the verb first form to talk about something happening at the moment or talk about now. As in the sentence, I can't hear you. It's a sentence shows something which is talking about now. You cannot say I'm not hearing you, which is wrong. But if we use hearing, that gives totally different meaning. Like here, hearing something means receiving some information. Like in the sentence, I have been hearing really strange things about him recently. Means I have been receiving really strange things about him recently. If you can see that hearing gives totally different meaning here. It means information here. Notice, look and hear are stative or non-action verbs when they are used as appear, seem and sound. We can use it seems or it appear followed by a clause. After seem and appear, we often use infinitive form or perfect infinitive form. Let's see some sentences. You can better understand by comparing these. As in the first sentence, she appears to be in very good shape. Good shape means in a good health. If you notice that there is an infinitive form, you cannot say she is appearing to be in very good shape. This is wrong. And in the next sentence, it appears that he might be telling the truth. It appears is followed by a connective word and a clause. Keep this structure in mind because it will help you in solving the error problems in your exams. You cannot say it is appearing. This is wrong. Verb seem is a stative and non-action verb. As we see earlier, we can use it in this structure, and it can be followed by infinitive form or perfect infinitive form. Let's see some sentences. It seems that we will never find out the truth. We cannot say it is seeming. That would be wrong. Have you ever heard someone saying that it is seeming that it will rain today? Either we can say it seems that it will rain today or it looks like it will rain today. And similarly, he seems to have a natural gift for music. It's a perfect infinitive here. Let's see the verb sound. Like appear and seem, the verb sound is also a stative or non-action verb. You can use the sound with following structure as sound followed by as if or as though and followed by clause, or sound followed by like and then object. Let's take the sentence. You sound like your mother. Means your voice or way of speaking is like your mother. And I don't think you have ever heard anyone saying you are sounding like your mother. I mean, it sounds weird. And similarly, he sounded as though he was not very fond of the idea. We cannot say he was not sounding. This is totally wrong. And if you notice, we use as though and followed by a clause. In the next sentence, he sounds as if he had a long party last night. Here also we use as if and followed by a clause. But we cannot say he is sounding as if he had a long party last night. It is totally wrong. Well, for making negative and interrogative sentences, you just simply need to put does with singular subject and do with plural subjects. As in the first sentence, She doesn't look smart means she never looks smart. And you don't sound like your mother. And for interrogatives, how does it taste? Because it is a singular subject, it. And in the next sentence, how does she look? How does lemon smell? We can simply answer it, lemon smells strong. Or how do I look? Or does she look smart? Or do you sound like your mother? Before we finish, we need to keep some points in mind. Is that with the verbs like feel, taste, sound, smell, look, appear, seem, they are always followed by adjective, means good. We cannot use well with these words. But with see and hear, we always use well, which is an adverb. So keep that point in mind, because it is very important when you solve any error in your exams. And the last thing, with all the forms of see, hear and feel, infinitive form will be dropped. Means to plus verb first form is never used after these words. Okay, it's time to know what you have learned. There are some sentences, and against each sentence there are two options. You have to choose the correct one according to you. Okay, stop the video, try the exercise, check your answers. I hope you all did well today in the exercise. See you in the next video with new topic. Till then, bye bye.